Hey everybody, on a rainy Monday night, welcome to week 4 of EDU6200. As I promised on my email yesterday, I've got some good information coming your way today, mainly regarding our upcoming assignments and not so much about the week 4 assignments. Now, a few of you still owe me stuff this evening. There's several that need to turn in WCG number 9. That's due this evening by 11:55. And a couple of you still owe some posts in discussion forum, also by 11:55. It's about 4 hours from now as I'm taping this. Let's talk now about upcoming WCG assignments to make sure you're on track of where you need to be. First of all, the next one due is WCG number 2, and that's a very simple assignment. Many of you have already done it. This one is due in week 6. That's on October 1st, so a couple weeks away it's due. And that one, you're just doing the inventory online as it directs you to in the syllabus. You're taking a screenshot and you're uploading that into Chalk and Wire by first going to the portal and then clicking on the Chalk and Wire link. It takes you in there and you submit the assignment for me. The next assignment due, and only other WCG assignment we have before the midterm in week 8, is WCG number 3. Now that one's going to be due on October the 8th, and I first want you to look at the syllabus, and you'll find information about WCG number 3 starting on page number 6. It talks about working with your administrator to develop a list of effective and challenging areas related to different learning outcomes. Now, the syllabus gives you a list of 5 different things, that you've got to have in this piece. There are 4 areas you must address, and then you must also complete a 1-page reflection. That is in addition to the assignment. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this assignment. I'm going to talk about the rubric in a second. WCG number 3, you're welcome to submit a 1-page bulleted list if you want to that answers those 4 areas and gives me what we need. Number 2, submit a PowerPoint where you have a slide for each of those areas and then a separate 1-page reflection. Really important, the 1-page reflection is based on how you're going to implement the things you've talked about in the areas of focus, those 4 areas above. If you switch to the rubric for WCG number 3, and give me 1 second while I switch screens and pull that one up, you'll find that this one is very, very clear to you. Each of the areas, the 4 areas that are addressed on the syllabus, you have to have 4 techniques for implementing state or federal guidelines. Basically, it's 4 things for each one concerning students, concerning accommodations, concerning constitutional rights, and then concerning, of course, ethics. So this is a real straightforward assignment, but it takes time sitting down with your administrator to fill it out. There is a form on the right side of the portal your administrator must sign. You're going to submit to Dr. Hassan by the end of the semester. And then the last piece, of course, is that 1 full-page reflection, and you're going to be responding to that prompt of how would you implement the things you're talking about. To give you an example, one of these areas says provide 4 ways or examples how the school maintain adherence to code of ethics. Well, I know in Hillsborough County, we do an ethics update every single year. We call it the annual training requirements. It's online. I happen to know about it because, yes, I'm the one who got stuck setting it all up. No, it's all good. But this is something we require them to do every year. They have to review the Principles of Professional Conduct Code of Ethics every year. So that would be one thing I would list in that particular piece. So you're going to sit with your administrator, come up with 4 items for each of those 4 bullet areas you find in the syllabus under WCG number 3. Again, this assignment is going to be due on October the 1st. October 1st, WCG number 3. All right, so before my voice fades completely, then you have the midterm exam during week number 8, and that's going to be chapters 1 to 6 only in our textbook. You will find a study guide in the portal. You'll also find good information in all the summaries and the chapter outlines I've put in each week of the portal. The next assignment due is going to be WCG number 5, which is professional development research. Now, this assignment, number 5, along with number 3, are both precursors for things you're going to do later on in the semester. So it's very important that you keep a keen eye on what you're doing with 3 and 5. They come back later. In fact, number 3 is done during week number 10. So this is going to be WCG number 5, Professional Development Research. You'll find information detailing that piece on pages 7 and 8. And basically what you're going to do is you develop a presentation. You're going to do some research with your administrator. Again, a lot of this stuff is all with your administrator. And when you pull up the rubric for WCG number 5, what you find is you've got to do two main things. Number one, you've got to collaborate with your administrator to find 5 or more needs for the school. What are 5 basic professional development needs? It could be teacher related, it could be management related, it could be professional practices related. There's a lot of different things, and you've got to put in information about them. My recommendation is you do a slide per area. It makes it very easy to have that laid out for you. The second one is you got to look at 5 ways effective school leaders provide professional development to their employees, to their teachers. And this could be through a traditional workshop, but could also be things like modeling. And so again, my recommendation here is 5 slides, 1 per area, 5 ways that you're going to do that, and this way you can properly cover this assignment in those things. Last but not least, you need to use technology. Now, some of you may have ventured outside of PowerPoint into other programs. Maybe use, drawing a blank on the online one. It'll come back to me sooner or later, but there's an online one that's like PowerPoint that's really neat, and I don't know, I'm drawing a blank right now and can't even think about it. But some neat technologies out there you can use, and definitely look in those things for that. The rest of the rubric is pretty clear on number 5, but very important. Getting number 5 right is really important for what you're going to do later on in the semester. Now, the last one I do want to go over tonight with you is WCG number 4. And then number 4 is going to wind up being due the following week, so that's by October the 29th. So these are both after the midterm, but I'm getting you thinking ahead. And WCG number 4 is the Compliance Action Plan presentation. So if you look back at the syllabus, you'll find WCG number 4 on page 7, and you can see that you're going to develop with your administrator an action plan based on one of the areas you did in number 3. So you're going to look back at number 3, which is the one due in a couple of weeks, and you're going to use that as your guide. You're going to pick one area, and then you're going to go into more details on what you would do. So this is very different from number 3. Number 3 was what the school did. This is now your chance to do what you would do if you were the principal. How would you address those techniques, the strategies, the compliance with federal and state laws, and the code of ethics? So in my example, my way of making sure everybody in the district got code of ethics every year was making sure they did it online, and that way it's there. This is entirely up to you, but just giving you ideas to think about. Again, just like always, you have ideas, questions, send them my way and say, hey, Dr. Richmond, does this sound right? Is this what I'm looking at? Don't do it the night before it's due, obviously, but feel free to take that piece into account, and I'll be glad to look it over for you. In fact, your Week 5 group has already emailed me twice and said, hey, is this what you're looking for when we do our presentation for next week? And by the way, Group 5, I saw your email about how you're going to present it, and yes, you're going to get a response from me a little bit later on tonight. But I want to get this voice while my nasal passage cleared enough and I could actually talk. It was very difficult training this afternoon, and I think you all know what that's like. You get the crud from the kids, and thank you very much. The last thing I do want to talk about is a quick reminder about Week 6. We're going to do our online discussion. Now, those of you who are with me over the summer for the data class, it's going to be very similar in that I'm going to send you out this next weekend, probably on Sunday or Monday. I'm going to send you out a list of topics we're going to talk about, law-related topics. A lot of them will be things we've already covered, but I want to have a face-to-face discussion with y'all on that piece. If you're unfamiliar with Zoom and how it worked really good for us last semester, except for the one date when I had very crappy internet and we were playing the banjo. And I think one of you's in this class for the banjo. That was kind of cute. But it should work out really well. Make sure you have an account on Zoom. And the night of the discussion, about 10 minutes before the time, I will send out a reminder, and here is the link to come on. You need to come on during one of those 2 times. It's about a 30-minute discussion. We're going to have some conversations. I'm going to guide you along the way. I want to give us a chance to really talk face-to-face, interact with each other. It worked really well this summer with the data piece, and I think law is another area where having a discussion definitely helps talk about various cases we've already looked at that we haven't had a chance to really talk about. So we're going to do that, and I planned it specifically in Week 6 because that covers the last chapter before the midterm exam. I want to make sure we get it all in and have that discussion. The last thing on that is you're going to have a summary to do. And basically, you're going to summarize in about a paragraph or two what you talked about, what you learned, and how you might use it either as a current teacher or a future administrator. I mean, the law is just really unique and very helpful topic. It's one of those topics that no matter what you do in the school system, it makes sense. It's helpful. It's going to get you in the right direction. I think about school law and the number of cases I've seen over the years, and I taught ethics, oh gosh, for probably like 6 or 7 years, and I cannot tell you how many times I had to say this following statement: do not have sex with children. Do not have sex with your students. It is not okay. Never in any way, shape, or form is that okay. And the reason why I had to say that during an ethics class is because one of the years I did this, I taught an ethics class in September. I know I made that statement. I'm sure I did, at least once. And then in November, we get notice of one of our middle school teachers who had sex with one of her students, middle school, at the school during school, pulled the kid out of class, had sex with the kid, pulled him out of class, drove home with him during school, and had sex with him, and then brought him back to school. And this happens, it breaks the news, and my boss at the time sends a text out to all of us: all right, who trained that person in ethics? I had to raise my hand. And it just changed the way I trained that course, because you think it's common sense, you really do, but then it happens. It happens in your own district. And so a very important topic the law is, and we'll talk a lot more about that. I've been reading your discussions already for this week, week number 3, and I'm enjoying them, and I look forward to week number 4. But that's basically it for this week. We'll come back again with some more information next week, and I'll give you that added piece of what we're going to discuss during discussion forum. It'll be a highlight of things that are, A, really important topics, but B, also probably going to be on the midterm exam. So you guys have a great week. Hope the weather's not bad for you where you guys are. It's just raining here. Thank goodness that hurricane is not coming this way. I hope it doesn't hit anyone. But I'm glad it's not coming this way, because about this time last year, Irma really messed things up in this state, and hopefully you've recovered from that piece. But I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great week.